Urs,
Hey.
it's LA. It's another Namm, and yet another time where presumably we will be talking about something new, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Excellent. Glad to hear it. I hope your trip over here was all fine. and
Oh,
everything.
fantastic. Was very good, thank you.
So I'm hearing Zebra 3.
Zebra 3, yes. So basically, not Zebra 3, the final version, but an alpha version that we're presenting, and that has a lot of the modules and concepts that are new in Zebra. And it already makes some sound, which is good.
Yeah.
And I can demonstrate basically a couple of concepts and features that are like way beyond what Zebra 2 did. And we also have I think about 12 presets.
12, a whole 12.
A whole 12, yeah.
Nice.
You know, it's because things are in flux, and then like the day before we flew off, we had a new build which needed presets to be adapted.
Right,
and
of
stuff.
course, because when
yeah.
you're building presets for something that's not finished, then you have to start from scratch, right?
Yeah. It's really just to show off what it can do or how it works.
So we've got it on the screen.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a change of UI by the looks of things, is that right?
It's pretty much the same general concept where you have this rack here for oscillators or audio tools or audio objects, and this is the rack where all the modulators appear, and then there's the bottom bar, and with this combination, it's usually possible to work on one thing and not have to tap anywhere else, and this has improved even. So, right? So, like in the original Zebra, I'm not going to make a serious patch now. You can add oscillators, and there are filters, right? And there are new modules which are like 4 in one mixers. Let's have a look which one take like this, right? So then you can you have another oscillator here maybe, right? So you can mix 4 lanes now in one. And this one, for instance, this can then sum, or it can scan, and it has a vector version. So you have, like the vector synthesis thing where you have like these,
right.
you go through different mixes, and then you can loop in certain ways, and all sorts of things, right? So we have vector synthesis basically in here, which wasn't there before.
No.
And what's new, which is really cool, is I have to show this. You can select multiple things here, and then you only see those. If your sound is something like a layered something with a couple of oscillators here, a couple of oscillators there, a couple of filters here, you can easily switch between the different layers this way by creating groups for them. That's a workflow feature that's really cool.
Nice.
And another workflow feature that's new is that if anything, on oscillator 1 down here, if I modulate anything in this oscillator, let's say here I've got an envelope and I drag it here onto this, then the mod matrix slots come up here. So you don't have to tap between the mod matrix and the objects anymore because they're just here. And likewise, if an MSEG uses something, I hope this works. Yeah, right. So if the MSEG works on something, the mod matrix slot where it's the source arrives here as well, and they're also here in the whole overview. They can be sorted by target, by slot, or by source. So there's like a whole new set of things that we've done to increase the speed of work or the workflow. And likewise here, the filters, for instance, we have the original filters from Zebra 2, but all with 12 different responses. So 4 different low pass filters, 4 different band pass filter versions, 4 different high passes. Until the release, we're going to add a couple more lines and maybe put something analog modeling or something in there. So this is already 12 times 4. That's like 48 algorithms, right? So and it's easy to navigate. So you can easily try the different responses of one filter, and you can try different filter types with the same response easily by navigating through this
nice.
matrix, right? So that's one of the workflow things. Another thing that's new and that's quite spectacular. Each thing that uses a pitch source, like an oscillator, a filter, a comb filter, we have a new type of resonator, which is a modal resonator, right? It can select between a key follow, which is just a key, and a pitch 1, 2, 3, 4, and these things have their own page. So we have now 4 different pitch sources which can have a variety of settings, like they can use the lowest key, the highest key, or like the first key, like the oldest key. So you can have one oscillator always playing the highest key, or the key from the previous note.
Oh, so right, interesting. Right? Yeah.
So and then you can create interesting different types of how a melody would evolve or something, right? And this also contains the transpose setting. It contains the pitch bend setting. It has a drift, so you have like per voice slight different pitches. It has a modulation section, which I will show shortly, and it has glide and a quantizer. And as long as nothing is selected here, the other pitch sources have the same settings, but we can enable overriding settings. So this way, you can have a couple of oscillators and filters follow pitch 1, and you have this as a macro control for pitch 1.
Right.
And then the other pitches for other things. So to make a duophonic sound, you would go into the legato play mode, and you would have oscillator 1 follow the lowest note, and oscillator 2 follow the highest note. And then the filter can also decide to either follow the lowest or the highest.
So you could build any kind of emulate kind of any architecture and design your own architecture.
Yeah, kind of.
So it's still, this is, perhaps those who don't know, Zebra is a very deep synth. It's one of it's your flagship, isn't it? Really, it was one of the flagships.
Yeah, it used to be the flagship, but then at some point, it is 18 years old, or 19 even. So Diva is now our flagship, actually,
right, yes.
really.
Yeah, I guess so.
And we hope to recreate the flagship status for Zebra as well, again with this one. And let me just quickly run you through one of the things you can do here. So one of the things you can do, which is also new, is that the mod mappers, which are these fellas, right, they can have let's say 8 steps, right? And this is usually, once you apply it to something, apply it to pitch here, right? It's like each key press, it progresses.
You're right.
Right, and you have all these other things that are known from Zebra, where it can be applied to keys, it can be applied to another mod source, and all of that. But new is in the increment mode. I can, for instance, take an LFO, and I take it with the saw down and 8th, and now it's a step sequencer.
So it's using the up trigger to send it to the next step. Yeah.
So and I have applied this directly to tune. This is tedious, and I have a better version of doing that. And I will do this in the pitch module. So now I take the mod mapper and I apply it to let's say 2 octaves up and 2 octaves down. And I don't hear it. Why don't I hear it? So this is a Vorführeffekt. I have to use the pitch also for the oscillator. Right? This is this. And now I can use the quantizer and put it post modulation.
So it will always be musical.
Yeah, exactly. So I do it a little bit. So
I think you're onto something. That was only 2 cycles, and I was already nodding.
Yeah. This is stuff that I probably learned from the modular experience, right? And because we have the sawtooth LFO, I just quickly put a filter behind it, like so, and also LFO1. right? So the LFO also creates the filter envelope basically, and this is polyphonic, right? So right, or when I put the LFOs in sync to each other, then
so almost like you can do sort of systems, kind of like. Yeah, it's like modular sequencing in many ways. So,
yes.
What do they call it? It's I forget the one it is. It's the circadian or not circadian, but one of those sequencer modes.
It's mostly akin to the voltage block maybe. So you only have the voltages that you store, but you can trigger this, for instance, with an MSEG, and then you can have any kind of rhythm.
So. Will this ultimately be able to read previous versions of Zebra patches, or will you have to?
No. It's a complete rewrite. There is hardly any of the original modules will sound exactly the same, right? And also we're consolidating modules. So there used to be the XMF filter, right? And then there are the Diva filters in the Zebra HZ. And we're going to consolidate all of this in just one filter module, which then has the audio rate modulation and all that kind of stuff. And because we have all these mixing modules that I already showed, you can mix things in different ways and flip phases, and flip stereo, and all of that. So this is going to be more powerful, but more modular with smaller entities, right? Then Zebra 2 has a lot of modules which are super powerful, and but then limited to these options that they have. And here you can build it back together, but you're more versatile in how you use them. So the one thing that actually works now, which I have to show, is so I have this envelope on release now, so I can play, and then right. So then you can build patches where an envelope is triggered on release or by LFOs. It's way more modular than it used to be.
Right, I see.
And one thing that's also really funky, I just make a normal patch and a bit of like this, and I go here and I go into legato mode and not reallocate. So this is like I have to take a longer attack. So this is like the legato always was on Zebra, right? So the new node will steal the old one. And
at the phase of the envelope that it's currently at, right?
Yes. Actually, it is not. So it goes back to 0. It steals it and goes back to 0.
Right, gotcha.
But then we can go to reallocate here, and then
right. So
then it picks it.
Yes, that's
then it picks it up, and if we don't do reallocate, so the old voice is basically stolen, and we call this discharged. And instead of discharging it quickly, we can discharge it with its own release. So then you have still a legato mode. And wait, let me just take the attack down. So it's polyphonic, right? But it's polyphonic, but I can play legato.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So it's polyphonic envelope of a monophonic oscillator.
No, it's you can only play one key at a time, but the keys that you release, they will still release.
Right, interesting. Nice, that's interesting. Yeah.
Right. So and you can construct all sorts of.
So I mean, you've been going in sort of deep and tweaking with the building blocks to a really high degree, right?
Yeah. It's the idea is that a lot of the stuff in there is very precise, and it's like a sound design shop. If you like there's like in other, like Photoshop or something.
Yeah.
But for sound design, right? And for synthesis, basically. So we also have, like, I just give a quick rundown. They're not ready yet, really. So we have these mallet type things here, which have like the stiffness, and then you have resonators, which have like string.
So some sort of physical modeling modules.
Yeah,
right?
and I have to.
Oh, it's nice. It sounds very full.
So
there's kind of a morph between Car Plus and and analog.
It's simple. Modal synthesis sounds a little bit like Car Plus strung, but it's different. But we also have the comb filters, of course, which do exactly that in the end, right? And so we have these modules, and all sorts of new things, but so many modules are still missing. Like there's no frequency modulation oscillators that we used to have. They will come back, but we firstly concentrate on these things that are like super intense on research, basically, or stuff that we haven't done before.
Right. Okay. Because you can implement those other things with relative.
And we have good example code for that from the Zebra 2, basically.
Yeah.
Just need to improve a little bit here and there. And then maybe. So this is basically the rundown of all these little things and all these new things. And another thing I wanted to show is maybe a couple of the presets that we already have.
Oh yes, please, yeah.
Because they sound much better than anything I could come up here quickly with. I don't know how to play this one. Oh, there's 2 oscillators and a reverb. Yeah, so many of the presets are based on Zebra LED patches, right? So
okay.
where they already know exactly how it works. Oh yeah, this is new. We have like a texture synthesizer, like these things like clouds and arpeggiator, like what's also in the modular world. And they can. You can freeze the buffer and do all sorts of. It's almost like a sample playback thing, a little bit. I don't know exactly what it's supposed to do, but it's supposed to do something interesting. Probably.
There's a lot going on there.
Yeah, with just 3 modules. Oh, this is this one, yeah. See, comes in a bit hot, or? I don't know what this is. Yeah. And this kind of stuff.
So I'm going to ask, because, and I know it's something you never ask a software developer because they don't want to give a date or a timeline. I'm going to guess the fact that we're seeing this means that we're moving along through the process.
Yeah, it's super far. Like 2 months ago, this was not doing anything at all. So, and a lot of stuff is UI development, and because UI development is you can't put too much into it, otherwise it becomes too tedious to develop for it.
Yeah, because then you have to change it when you.
Because then they change something a little bit, and then the UI artist has to go in and change every single module. Right, so that's also why there's not too many modules in there, or the modules that are in there are just copied. And but once this is all done, and it's close to be done, we can start filling it up with all the other modules that are missing. But of course, there's still bugs. There's still some stuff to be refined. So the date will hopefully be this year.
Okay,
So
that's pretty specific.
it's specific. Yeah, this
Yeah.
is what I'm.
Specifically non-specific.
Yeah. Anyway, and I'm very optimistic, and I have at least one more preset that I have to. I think it's this one. It's just.
Well, that's nice. That's a pair of saw teeth.
And I think it uses weird pitch assignments. Yeah.
That's nice.
Or maybe it probably has a quantizer in there. And then here a typical Howard scar. Right? These things, or I think there was one that does this. Yeah, this uses the modal stuff. Oh, this doesn't do anything. Yeah, so this is that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Urs. That's great. I mean, I guess now when you start filling up, when do you can't do much patch design until you're further down the line, I suppose. So everybody.
Yeah, I guess we'll be finishing up with the DSP side sometime in summer, and then there's going to be a very long period of just sound design, I guess. But that will also start earlier, so it's going to be intertwined.
Yeah.
And one of the things why we're here is to also, manage expectations, right? So this doesn't have an arpeggiator yet, and we first want to see how it all goes with all these modulations and sequencings and stuff that are already in the voice. And when we do an arpeggiator or a sequencer, it has to somehow respect that and interact with it.
Right.
Right? So we can't just make a sequencer or arpeggiator right now where we're not finished yet exploring the options that are already there. So, and in the same vein, we don't know exactly what kind of compressors, kind of distortion modules we need in it, unless we have the main sound design tools available. So this is all. It's going to be a bit interactive, back and forth between people, and so when it comes out, it will not have all the modules that Zebra 2 has, right? Because Zebra 2 is like
they'll be different, I suppose.
18 years in the making, and so it will be, in the first place, a synthesizer based on the concept of what Zebra is, and then over time we'll add more. That's just it's part of the concept.
Thank you very much, Urs.
Yeah, thank you.